the chairman of the South Carolina House of Representatives Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Environmental Affairs Committee, lives in Conway. And he's on Carolina People this morning. Meet him, coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Sassy Girl in the Blackwater Market on 4th Avenue in historic downtown Conway. We're focused on the South Carolina House of Representatives Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Environmental Affairs Committee. And we're visiting with its chairman, the Representative Billy Witherspoon. Good morning, Chairman Witherspoon.
I'm glad to be with you this morning.
Thank you so much for coming in early on a Friday morning. Do you mind if I call you Billy?
That'll be fine.
Since we're right after Christmas and obviously celebrating here.
All of us need to go on a diet, don't we?
I started already. You're wearing black. There's a reason why, I guess. Yeah. I hope you all had a great Christmas.
Great Christmas. All 8 grandchildren were here.
Is that
we had
right?
16 folks, and we just get us a big house, and we did get a big house, and let's go to the beach.
That is fantastic. And this is a holiday tradition.
We've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
See, when you think about all of them coming to your house, and you got 16 people, and you got at least 16 baths a day, and all the electricity, all water, so we just go to the beach.
That's great thinking. Yeah. The wonderful thing is we live in an area where we can rent a beach house and get down there, and someone else can clean up a little bit after us. How about this Sassy Girl? Have you been in this Blackwater Market? It's amazing.
This is a wonderful place.
It really is.
People ought to come in and look around and shop a little bit.
Right,
it's really nice.
Right here on the corner of 4th and Laurel, real easy to find, and obviously a Main Street right next door. I mean, it's a perfect place to
And it's so clean and neat around here.
It is.
Somebody did a lot of thinking to put this together.
They really did.
Yeah.
The whole thing is beautiful. They've really done it up right. You know Horry County pretty dang well, don't you?
Been here about, I guess, 35, 40 years now. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you a native of the Palmetto State?
Yes, I'm originally from a little place called Timmonsville.
Oh, good, in Florence County. Of course. I used to have a studio in Timmonsville that
right?
I bought from Ed Young.
Yeah, Ed home's not close to mine. We're about 3 miles apart. Matter of fact, I used to have milk cows years and years ago when he was in the dairy business. Yeah.
Son of a gun.
You know, he was congressman at one time.
Of course, 72 to 74, and lost that, I think, to John Jenrette.
Yeah.
Back in 74. But that was a big district at that time.
Yes,
the
it was.
6th district, I believe, was a humongous district.
And Ed's a great guy.
He is.
He's a great guy.
He's a sweet...
I see him a couple of times a year.
Well, you ought to stop by. Now, of course, you'll be leaving in a couple of weeks to head back up to,
That's right.
Columbia, so
About
you'll be
2 weeks.
passing by him.
By January the 9th.
Okay, Tuesday the 9th.
That's all, Tuesday,
This is for folks who don't understand, I guess, how the House of Representatives work or the Senate. Y'all are there at the same time.
Yeah, we're there at the same time.
Okay.
We don't always come in the same time of day, but we're there 3 days a week. House usually goes in session on Tuesday. We'll go in session at 12 o'clock. And the first 2 weeks, we won't be in session about maybe an hour. And then we go to have our committee meetings.
Right.
And in particular, this will be the 2nd year of this session. And a lot of folks, a lot of House members have already pre-filed bills.
Okay.
And so I have opportunity to look at those bills before we get there. And then some of them have already been assigned to committees.
Right.
And then we'll start meeting probably on the 9th. There'll be some committee meetings most likely.
When you say pre-filed bills, it's as simple as just what you said. I mean, folks are pre-filing, so you all have a chance to look at them before things
You know, that can be dangerous, though, Greg. A lot of times people will study those bills before we get up there and build up the opposition to them. So.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Our director had highlighted before we started this morning that you were one of 5 chairmen of House committees.
That's correct.
One of 5, which is a big deal for Horry County, obviously, to have you here as a native son.
Well, it's an agricultural committee. We deal with anything that pertains to agriculture, and then anything pertaining to environment. The speaker will assign it to our committee, and this deals with anything like wetlands. It deals with landfills, septic tanks, bridges like the Marsh Island bridges down in Charleston and Beaufort.
Right.
And these bills sometimes get very controversial.
Oh, I bet they do. Anything dealing with the environment.
And you'd be surprised when it comes to natural resources. I tell them we got a lot of Daniel Boones in the House because when we bring some kind of bill up dealing with wildlife, Everybody's an expert in it.
Oh, I bet, of course, yeah.
You don't mess with a person's hunting and fishing.
And now y'all have a very dedicated, albeit I think it's a volunteer base. Aren't there some hunting and fishing or subcommittees or otherwise?
Yes, we have in my committee, we have an agricultural subcommittee, we have a natural resource subcommittee, and we get so many environmental issues. We have 2 environmental subcommittees. Right. And when I get the bill, then I assign the bill to one of those subcommittees. And then they hold hearings. Most of those hearings are held in Columbia. Mm-hmm. They hold hearings, and we advertise it. We'll set those bills up like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then we put it out to the media, right. And we send letters out to people request to come hear the or testify. They come in and testify, whether they're for or against.
Oh yeah, sure. And they're vociferous either way, I'm sure.
But we have security to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand.
Not too wild, yeah, yeah. How did you become chairman of this committee? One that has such a broad scope on not only this area, but the entire state.
I've been on this committee since '93.
Okay.
And I get some new members coming in every 2 years, and the committee themselves, which are 18 people on that committee, they elect their chairman. Mm-hmm. And so they elected me to serve as their chairman, and I've been chairman 5 years now.
Wow.
And so I got an odd year because the person was in there previously, he resigned from the committee because he was running for constitutional office, so I took over a little bit early. And I guess they must like me because they keep re-electing me.
Keep re-electing you, that, which is wonderful. And particularly your brethren there in that position. Do you mind sharing with viewers the other 4 committees?
You got the Judiciary Committee,
right?
And Jim Harrison is chairman of that. You got Ways and Means Committee. Dan Cooper's chairman of that. You got LCI, which is Labor, Commerce, and Industry is what that is, and Harry Cato is chairman of that. Okay. And then you got 3M Committee. Right. And we got a chairman.
I want to imagine what that 3M stands
for.
Well, yeah.
There's municipalities, medical, and I forget what the other M.
I forget what the other
M stands for.
3M. There's probably not a person in Columbia knows what that stands for. And so, of course, the idea is that there's 5 chairmen, and you all are very and obviously interfacing with.
Yeah. We meet at least once a week. We're in Columbia, and we discuss issues. Matter of fact, I've already had one meeting with them early in December.
Right.
So we can sit down and talk about what the big issues are going to be this coming year.
Now, do you actually have time to serve on other committees?
No. In the House, we only serve on one committee. Okay. In the Senate, you may serve on several committees.
To serve on several. We were with Senator Elliott and Tracy Edge and Representative Edge 3 or 4 months ago filming in North Myrtle Beach. It was fascinating hearing about all the activities. The senators are pretty dang busy there, and I think there's a chance hearing Dick talk about that, if he is blessed to be reelected, that he could actually join, I believe, the
probably Finance Committee.
Exactly, which is very important.
That's the one that handles the money.
Right, right. We've heard about Senator Leatherman, of course, here in our viewing area, and the impact that's had on the PD, and obviously a lot going on. I think I also saw you're vice chairman of the Northeastern Strategic Alliance.
That's right. That's called NISA, which is short, and I'm the chairman of the board.
Okay.
And Yancey McGill is the chairman of the Executive Committee.
Right, okay.
And, matter of fact, we just went to Japan a few weeks ago.
To Japan?
Yeah.
That's not part of South Carolina.
No, I'm afraid not.
You mean Asia, yeah.
That's a 14-hour plane ride.
I was trying to think, how could you get, I couldn't even drive a car that far.
That's right. We went there to a meeting of NISA, which really is Japan and the southern states.
Right.
We meet 1 year in Japan, 1 year in the United States. Next year we'll be in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, great.
And,
that's a little easier drive.
Yeah. I've asked some of those folks from Japan that we met with, Senator Leatherman went, and Senator McGill and myself and 2 of our staff members.
Right.
And I said, if you guys will come a little bit early, I'll make arrangements some golf down at Myrtle Beach, and they just lit up when I said golf, because they like to play golf.
Oh, yeah, when you said Myrtle Beach, sure.
You know what one round of golf cost in Japan? Just $300.
Oh, come on. Per person?
Per person. 18
You are
holes.
kidding.
That's what the guys tell me. We met with Yamaha, I can name a few of them, Yamaha, Honda, and several of these guys. We met with the CEOs and the president. And what we're trying to do is get them to come and invest their money here.
Of course, yeah.
And Hitachi, that was another we met with. And
now, when you're there, are they also trying to say, no, you come to us?
Well, they'll be here next year in Raleigh, and then they'll try to get us to invest in Japan, which we have done. We met with Bridgestone Firestone.
Sure.
And they have a little operation, in King Street.
Oh, okay, yeah. They also have a bigger operation in the upstate.
That's right. So it's most of this is developed on friendship, is what happens. And I hope there'll be some announcements made sometime in the next 8 or 12 months here in South Carolina.
Of course, Honda has a very big presence in your hometown.
In Tillmansville.
In Tillmansville,
yes. I've toured that operation. It's fantastic.
It is. It is. We've interviewed their GM a number of times over the few years up there. He was very dedicated with the Boy Scouts. Mike Helton, I'm not sure if he's still there, but a real dedicated crew up there, and they really have made a difference in the PD.
I believe one comes off the line about every, I want to say 14 or 15 seconds. But
come on. Is it that tight?
It's something. They also got jet skis there too now.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. We want to get in on that. That's where traveling back to
I got a little club called Rum Rum Club. That's retired old men riding on motorcycles. And we toured the Honda plant. There was about 20 of us that toured it, and they were very gracious to us.
Well, you know, a lot of guys, of course, none of y'all are retired, but David Harwell, we think about Jim Exum, the former Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, and other folks who really turned to motorcycles as a vehicle.
The Justice used to ride with me, Harwell,
right?
But I think he sold his motorcycle.
Oh, come on. Debbie wouldn't let him do that. I don't believe it. Don't say that. These are secrets on a Friday morning. Well, what actually got you interested in agriculture? Was it at an early age or later in life?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, small farm in Florence County, and I was very active in 4-H club work.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that's how I become interested in it. And my dad wasn't able to expand very much, so I said, well, this is the next thing to it. So when I graduated from Clemson University, I went to work with Clemson Extension Service. And the Extension Service is a part of the university. You got the teaching staff, you got research, and then you got extension.
And it's spread in every county or all over
every county in the state, and it's always handled through the land grant university.
Okay.
And see, NC State has one in every county.
Okay.
Georgia, all the states do. And it's changed a lot over the years, like everything else has, and that's how I've become interested. So I retired in '90 after 34 years.
34 years with
enjoyed every day of it.
And it was you were just the person for Horry, or did you travel to PD, or
no,
how was it?
I started out in York County.
Okay.
And then I moved from York. I wanted to get sand in my toes, so I moved to Dillon County.
Right. That was a
and
little
when this position came open down here, they moved me down here in
That's
Horry County. Come in '69.
In '69. So you've been here, as you said, almost 40 years. That's amazing. Well, the county, you think about some of the changes in the county prior to you making a decision. What was it that got you to commit that after retiring from Clemson, from the extension, that you would actually, what was it that prompted you?
A lot of it is somewhat similar working with people. I felt like that in extension service, I work with folks every day trying to help them, and in politics is similar to that, working with people. And I got a big rural area too.
Oh, yeah.
A big rural area.
This District 105.
105.
Right, right.
It runs from Conway to up to Green Sea Floyd's. It runs to North Carolina line. Then it sweeps back round to the Grand Dunes. That's in my area.
You're kidding?
Yes.
That rural area of the Grand Dunes.
Rural area of the Grand Dunes. And that's a big agricultural area. Now, agriculture's changed a lot now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, tobacco was king in this state for years and years. And now it's taken a back seat to some of the other crops. But anyway, when you work with rural people, you're working with the grassroots level. It's one group of wonderful people in this county.
And you still travel around your district,
I'm
sure, all the time. You have to.
I get out and meet them. And matter of fact, a few weeks ago, I was in the Lower's Christmas parade.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Big celebration there.
Yeah.
And they have been doing that year after year.
Year after year.
Much like, and of course, as you So there's a lot of interaction with the other House members within the county. Obviously, Nice is a great example of that, a public-private mix there supporting that. And of course, with, as you said, Yancey McGill and Senator Leatherman, folks without the PD. I mean, or within the PD, we've really got to all work together.
Well, you see, NISA was organized as 9 counties, and it runs from Chesterfield, Marlboro, Dillon, O'Ree, Florence, Georgetown. I may have left someone out, but anyway, it's not to take the place of the County Development Board.
No, sure.
And if you go on the net, go to SouthCarolinaBusinessCorner.com, you can pull up anything on the net involving these counties. And you can punch O'Ree County if you want to see what buildings are available in the county. You can see what buildings are available for industry. Matter of fact, we got videotapes inside the building.
Is that right? Yeah.
And folks in Japan, when we were visiting with them, they were astonished.
Just pull it up online and look at everything.
And now they can see what we got available, because most of the industry in the state is upstate. It's from Sumter, particularly up around Greenville, Spartanburg, and Anderson.
We are working to change that, though, right?
Exactly right. We want some high-paying jobs.
That's right. We need to talk about I-73, but even if we didn't have I-73, I mean, surely we're setting the stage now to make things happen.
So what we can do here, we can get an industry, and then Hugh Owens, who is our county development person, then he takes there and puts the cake on the icing.
From the inbred group, absolutely.
It's not to take his place, it's to help him and enhance what he's doing, what we're trying to do.
Golly, Billy, of course, a lot of folks, and I'm glad you pointed that out, within the 9 counties, you are interfacing very well with the 9 directors of business development. It's very important to highlight that, particularly right after Christmas, as folks are thinking the new year's upon us. We got to get ready. I-73, obviously a lot of folks talk about DHEC recently, a lot of things going on with DHEC, but let's focus a little bit on the regional airport and on I-73, and I think recently there's an alligator bill that's moving forward.
Well, on I-73, the right-of-way now is pretty well established. Well, it is established from 95 to 22. We've had some problems coming across the river joining Marion County, and the right-of-way will be right beside of 917. And this is coming through Heritage Trust property, which DNR, say we own that property, but really they don't own it. You own it as a taxpayer, and I keep telling my friend in Columbia that you're just custodian of that land. You don't own it. And, we joke around a lot, but anyway, this has been some very expensive land. According to the map I got from DOT, it involves 27.2 an acre. And it's settled now, but I'm going to mention it anyway. DOT offered DNR, Department of Natural Resources, $450,000 for it. They wouldn't accept it, the conservationists. So I understand that the governor had both of them in his office, and they settled for $750,000. And see, we could have put a lot of asphalt on the ground for that much money. And my problem with this particular issue is the taxpayers are paying for that property twice.
That's right.
Because they get a lot of their money from document stamps. And when you buy a piece of property, real estate, and you understand that, you pay document stamps, and they get a certain percentage of it to buy property to preserve it. And a lot of this property buying, but I have no objections to. It can't be developed anyway. It's wetland. And so that's been a big problem with me and most of the ORE delegation. But hopefully that's settled now, and now we need these funds to buy that right-of-way. So
absolutely.
That's going to be a while, but that right-of-way is pretty well established now from 95 to 22.
That is true. And I-73 is for real. It's going to happen.
I think it'll happen in my lifetime. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but we got to get some more funds, and we're working with our delegation in Washington to help with federal funds. And we will be tolling I-73.
I-73. Do you have to work with the delegations in the other states along the corridor?
Oh, yeah. Brad Dean is the I-73 manager of this, and I think recently just had a meeting with other states, so it's beginning to fall in place.
And it is difficult, you having lived in Dillon County for as long as you did, not to think about I-95, because surely that is a...
That happened while I was there.
Oh, is that right? While you were there? Yeah. You think about, what is the guy south of the border who obviously had a little bit of impact on...
Just move it over a little bit.
Yeah, just a teensy bit, how that impacted things. Regional airports, another big thing that will have to happen.
Well, we have gotten a study underway now, and we're trying to look out 20 to 25 years.
Right.
And the way our Myrtle Beach airport's expanding, not expanding, but growing with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can't handle it.
Right.
And we're looking out 20, 25 years, and this airport may not even be located in Horry County. I suspect it'll be in the edge of Marion County. But if we wait 20 years and then start it, what land value is going to be then?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we're looking at now.
There won't be any. That's
right.
right. And there may be other TV towers. I bought some land, about 15 acres from a farm, from Oscar McKenzie, someone you may know in Marion County years ago, to build a tall tower, 1,530-foot tower right between Mullins and Nichols. Well, today, that wouldn't be able to go up with I-73 coming in with the potential of a regional airport. Had I not built it 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So there could be another TV tower built right in the middle of it if we don't go ahead and get moving on it
The
now.
way we're growing, we don't know what we'll be like 20 years from now.
That's a very good point.
But anyway, this study is underway, and I don't know what will happen. You have to go through these procedures to see what it's going to be, and I certainly support it.
We talked about briefly off camera before we started about the alligator bill that's pushing through. Share with viewers what has prompted that and what's gotten that rolling. We just got a couple of minutes.
Well, we don't really have an alligator problem here in Horry County. Now, I'm a fisherman, and I see them occasionally on Little PD River.
Right.
But down in Clarendon County, on Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion, and down in Dorchester County and Charleston, these folks have a real problem. Now, last year the Senate passed the alligator bill and sent it over to the House, and some of my members of the Wildlife Committee says we need to hold that up and let us work on it a little bit more. You see, our system is slow, but it works. It gives everybody an opportunity to express their feelings, and that's called democracy, and I support that. And on this alligator bill, we had a gentleman, I'm going to mention this, that got his arm bit off down at, I believe it was on Lake Moultrie. And the paper reported it, and I saw some gruesome pictures of that. And anyway, they cut the alligator open and got his arm, and they couldn't put it back on. It was too late. But this guy was in the water with a sign up saying, "Do not beware of alligators," because it was where they clean fish and throw the waste over in the water. So well, the alligator was feeding.
Sure, all the time.
And so, that's
not to take anything away from the man who lost an arm, but surely, I mean, if there's signs there, there's signs there.
I was down there a few weeks ago, and the fishing guides were telling me that. So anyway, we need a bill to reduce some of the alligator population, and that's what we're working on. And there's a little bit of difference between on private property and on public property. DNR says we need to use a harpoon and pull the gator over to us and then shoot him with a pistol no larger than .22 caliber. I just got the bill on my email the other day, 22 pages, and that's a large bill. We'll take a look at it, and there'll be some changes made in that. But I don't want anyone hurt trying to harvest an alligator, and that's what I'm trying to protect. So we'll study that over, and we'll have some hearings on it.
Billy, do you still have family here in the area?
No, my family. I have a sister that lives in Florence County, and my one son in Charlotte, one in Kingstree, and one in Iowa.
Is that right? One son in Charlotte, one in Williamsburg County, and one in Iowa. So only one right around here.
That's right.
Yeah. Of course, you also mentioned, I think Donald had mentioned that you and your wife both travel up to the session there, which is wonderful to be able to spend that time.
We leave every Tuesday morning about 7:15.
Wow.
138 miles to the State House.
You know it. We've heard that story about almost being able to do it with eyes closed. That's not something you do, I'm sure.
That's right.
But it is that easy a try. It's that perfect a shot.
We know exactly what time. We try to leave before school buses get on the road too much.
Right. This January, next month, it will be 15 years continuous. Is that right? Yeah. That's a big deal.
One more year in this term.
Wow.
For 16 years. Yeah.
That's a big deal. Well, you think about so much that has to happen representing the people, and our producer had laid it out that the focus is representing the people, and you want
to do what's right for the people, and in our system we give everybody an opportunity to have their say, and that's important, and everybody has different opinions. That's what makes our system so great in America.
We talked recently, we were with Chairman Gillen filming down in Merle's Inland and hearing her talk about that public input, which is so important. And everything y'all do, whether it's on your committees or just in the House. There is public input.
Public input.
It is an open system.
I think the longest hearing we've had was about 7 hours. And we won't let that happen again.
Not while you're chair.
You know, I like to talk, but we'll have to live in it, and and have a group, have one person represent them.
Right.
And I've had as many as over 100 people in the audience wanting to testify, and that's just, you can't do that. But we give people the opportunity to express their views on it.
Right. Those are great words. Billy, thanks so much for being with us
Good
this
to be
morning.
here. And congratulations on you. I called you Man of the Year, and you said Citizen.
Wait.
I'm going to call you the Man of the Year.
I'll take Man of the Year, but you were Man of the Year here at the Conway Area Chamber of Commerce, aside from being Alumni of the Year at Clemson, and probably quite a few other big honors that I should have highlighted during the interview. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Chairman and Representative Billy Witherspoon of the South Carolina House of Representatives District 105 coming up next. You heard him talk about the joy of being able on Christmas Day to get down with his wife and his 3 children and 8 grandchildren down there, going down to the beach to relax and enjoy a beautiful Christmas day. We think about how that's happened, how Horry County has grown, how the Grand Strand has grown. It's grown because over the years it's ridden on the backs of agriculture. It's ridden and grown on the backs of agriculture. You hear him still talking about the Grand Dunes area as agriculture. This entire area, this gigantic county, geographically the largest county in the state, agriculture has been king forever. It still has a dramatic role in our lives, and what a blessing to have the chairman of the Agricultural Committee and Environmental, Natural Resources and Environmental Affairs, but the commitment coming out of this area and service for this long and making a difference in this county. Don't forget our roots when you're out celebrating, whether it's a few days ago on Christmas or New Year's Eve when you're out celebrating in a beach house, that all this is here thanks to the growth of agriculture in this area for many, many years. Representative Billy Witherspoon.